it is bad news for the WNBA that she's not continuing to play.
W thinks that they don't have to pay us more. Commissioner talked about us being able to make $700,000. That's not true at all.
Diana Taurasi played in Russia and did not play in the WNBA.
This is huge news coming out of the WNBA right now. Caitlyn Clark, one of the league's biggest stars, has officially made a shocking decision to take her talents overseas and leave the WNBA behind.
In all of the sellouts, Caitlyn asked the WNBA if they would pay spot bonuses to the away team players.
This is a move nobody saw coming, but when we break down the reasons behind her decision, it actually starts to make a lot of sense.
Our biggest star in the league, Caitlyn Clark, is only making a base salary of around $76,000.
In today's video, we're diving deep into why Caitlyn Clark has chosen to leave and join the European League. From low salaries that don't even come close to what NBA players make.
NBA players make millions and millions of dollars. Victor Wembanyama, rookie salary, which was around $55 million for 4 years. And then you look at Caitlyn Clark's $338,000 salary that she signed for 4 years. It's around 162 times more that Victor made than Caitlyn.
To the ongoing issues with how she's been treated by the league, racial bias, unfair refereeing, and more. We're covering it all.
Caitlyn Clark was the solution for so many things, but so many players, coaches are also painting her out to be the problem. There was all of this just nonsense about things that Caitlyn was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides. She was getting all of that, yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her.
Plus, we're going to talk about how Caitlyn's presence alone has been the main reason the WNBA is even buzzing right now. Yet she's still not getting the support she deserves.
Caitlyn Clark came in and made such an impact on how many people started to care about the WNBA. This was the highest viewed season in the history of the league.
We'll break down the numbers and compare salaries so you can see just how ridiculous this situation is. Buckle up, because this is going to get real. Let's start with the biggest reason Caitlyn Clark is leaving the WNBA, the pay gap.
Storm player Gabby Williams warned the WNBA, if you want to keep international players, you need to do better.
W thinks that they don't have to pay us more in order for us to be here. And I think I didn't express that when I first talked about prioritization. You know, our commissioner talked about us being able to make $700,000. That's not true at all. There's not one player who makes that. We were promised, team marketing agreements and league marketing agreements, but they've fallen quite short. So it's still not enough for us international players to want to stay here. And that's a choice of the players. If I make a choice to make more money and whatever, and then the teams are mad that I don't come back, but that's how it is. So yes, it just, the WNBA, if you want us to be here, you have to pay us more. It's business, it's how it works, and that's all that.
From the sounds of this interview, it seems like she's probably going to make more money overseas in EuroLeague than she did during this WNBA season.
It's no secret that WNBA players are severely underpaid compared to their NBA counterparts. While NBA stars make millions every season, the average salary for a WNBA player is shockingly low in comparison. Even with Caitlyn's level of talent and the attention she's brought to the league, the pay doesn't reflect that.
Diana Taurasi played in Russia and did not play in the WNBA. Russia paid Diana Taurasi $1.5 million salary to play in Russia. The WNBA, the highest salary in the league, was $107,000. So obviously that's a huge jump.
What's even more frustrating is that Caitlyn's presence has been a game changer for the WNBA. We're talking about sold-out arenas, thousands of new fans, and a spike in viewership, all thanks to her.
Highest paid player in the WNBA currently makes a little over $200,000 in salary. I don't know what the WNBA does with their marketing dollars.
Just look at what Allison Barber, president of the Indiana Fever, said. When Caitlyn played away games, the arenas were packed, selling out tickets, and even selling standing room only spots.
Here's all you need to know about Caitlyn Clark. When we would go to away games, they always sold out. It's unbelievable. So Atlanta would normally have 3,000, 4,000 people. Now they have 17,000 people, and they sold 1,000 standing room only tickets. So when we walked into the arena, people were on that third balcony looking down at the tops of our players' heads to watch. It's really hard to take in. After a few away games, and all of the sellouts, Caitlyn asked the WNBA if they would pay spot bonuses to the away team players. She said,
wow,
we're making all this new revenue, and I would like the away team to benefit from that. Could they get a spot bonus? So that's the heart of Caitlyn Clark.
The Fever's away games felt like home games because of the number of Caitlyn Clark fans in the stands. Despite all this, Caitlyn and other WNBA stars are not seeing the financial benefits of their efforts.
Caitlyn's rookie salary is a little over $300,000 for 4 years, and that's all that she's going to make in the WNBA. Now, I feel like there could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlyn Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three.
NBA players are cashing in on lucrative deals, while WNBA players, even those driving massive revenue like Caitlyn, are left with comparatively low salaries. Caitlyn isn't the type to stand by and let that slide. She even went out of her way to advocate for spot bonuses for opposing team players when she saw how much revenue was being generated by her games. But due to the current CBA and the WNBA, those bonuses weren't granted.
The money is there, and if these owners are smart with it, I could definitely see more WNBA players going overseas and possibly not returning.
With all of this in mind, it's no surprise Caitlyn is looking elsewhere, to a league where her talent can be properly compensated. The European League offers players better salaries, more respect, and overall better treatment, things that Caitlyn Clark more than deserves. It's not just about the money. It's about being valued for the impact she's made. And right now, the WNBA just isn't offering that.
Caitlyn was still advocating for players on the other team to get bonuses because she saw the kind of money and eyeballs and viewership that all of this was generating.
Another significant factor influencing Caitlyn Clark's decision to leave the WNBA involves the racial dynamics within the league. Throughout the season, Caitlyn faced intense scrutiny, not only from fans, but also from players and coaches who seemed to target her unfairly.
This season has been nothing short of a mess. It has been so unprofessional, and they need to step it up, and they need to step it up quick.
Despite her phenomenal skills and achievements, many narratives painted her as the problem, rather than recognizing her as a solution to the league's challenges.
The NBA in 2022 made around $10 billion in revenue. That is about 166 times the amount of money that the WNBA makes.
This brings us to a critical point, the perception of bias against Caitlyn. The league has seen various incidents where referees appeared to favor black players, often overlooking fouls against them while penalizing Caitlyn and her teammates more harshly. This unequal treatment can be discouraging for any player, but especially for someone like Caitlyn, who has been under a magnifying glass.
Caitlyn Clark is just such a class act. She was incredible, breaking all types of records, and that's something she was certainly proud of. We saw lots of smiles on the court.
Caitlyn is the face right now, and that's also good. Like, she's selling out gyms, of course. Like, why would you hate against that?
We saw dirty play after dirty play on Caitlyn Clark, and still, she just handled every single situation with the highest levels of dignity.
As she showcased her talent night after night, it seemed like the system was rigged against her, contributing to her feelings of isolation and frustration.
WNBA players and their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they have done everything they can to diminish the impact of Caitlyn Clark. They tried to convince us that there are other players in the dump capable of drawing an audience. They tried to convince us that other players deserve the spotlight.
Players like Gabby Williams have openly discussed the messiness and unprofessionalism within the WNBA, emphasizing the drama and chaos that overshadowed the season. If Caitlyn felt that she was being unfairly targeted and that refereeing biases were affecting her gameplay, it only adds fuel to her desire to play elsewhere, somewhere she can showcase her skills without the fear of bias impacting her performance.
Owner of the Atlanta Dreamers said, "This is our league." All those people who have been saying, "This is our league," they can't sell out playoff games.
I don't think the WNBA is ready for this type of attention that she's bringing. Racism. Everybody's talking about enough with the racist BS. She's nasty. She knows how to ball. Everybody else is jealous. They're pissed off because she's getting this, like, it's ridiculous. And we're never going to advance as a species, and we're never, if he keeps having that type of attitude. It's ridiculous. It's like, what? Everything has to go back to race. Everything has to keep going back to race. She's really good. Let it be that. And the other players should shut the hell up. Like, nobody was talking about your league. Nobody cared about the WNBA until that girl, Caitlyn Clark, I don't care what color she is. She's ridiculous. She's nasty. And now people are watching and you guys are talking shit about her. She should leave. She should have got those other contracts, Pat. Where does she have a contract to go somewhere else?
The Big Three.
She should have gone to the Big Three. To hell with the WNBA. They're nothing. They're nobody.
Caitlyn's decision to join the European League allows her to escape this pressure cooker of a situation. In Europe, she could find a more level playing field and focus on her game without the constant feeling that she has to prove herself amidst perceived biases.
There's a league with players that feel like they should be getting the attention. Now they have center stage, but the ratings are going to go down. Are they going to be pointing fingers and blaming Indiana Fever fans and Caitlyn Clark fans whenever the ratings don't stay the same?
Yeah, they will.
The prospect of playing in a league that may appreciate her talents without the added complications of racial dynamics could be incredibly appealing. Caitlyn Clark deserves to play in an environment that fosters her growth as a player. And unfortunately, the current state of the WNBA isn't providing that.
Hey, look at the numbers everywhere else across women's basketball. It's not just Caitlyn Clark, it's all of us. And then the moment the ratings tank, they're going to come back and say, see, we were right all along. It's all the racists that follow Caitlyn Clark that were watching the product, and now they're gone, and we're back with our diehards. It is bad news for the WNBA that she's not continuing to play.
One of the most glaring reasons behind Caitlyn Clark's decision to leave the WNBA for the European League is the significant disparity in salaries. Despite her immense talent and the viewership she brings to the league, Caitlyn has faced the stark reality of WNBA salaries being far lower than what she could earn overseas.
Most points by a point guard in a season in WNBA history. Most double-doubles by a rookie guard in WNBA history. Most points by a rookie in WNBA history. Most assists by a rookie in the history of the WNBA. First WNBA rookie to record 2 triple-doubles. First triple-double by a rookie in WNBA history. First triple-double in Fever history. The first player to be named WNBA Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month. First player in WNBA history with 20 or more points, 15 or more assists, and 5 or more rebounds in a game. She won Rookie of the Month 4 times. Eastern Conference Player of the Week 3 times, single season rookie record for assists, single season rookie record for 3-pointers, single game record for assists, 19, franchise record for most double-doubles, 3-pointers, career 10 or more assists in a game, franchise record for most career 10 or more assists in a game. Fastest WNBA player to reach 100 3-pointers. She did it in 34 games, most assists by a rookie in a WNBA All-Star game for which she received the most fan votes ever, 700,000 of those. Fastest player to reach 350 points and 150 assists to start a season regardless of years in the league. People will say, pay more attention to the other folks. Like, she couldn't do it herself. You know, LeBron has teammates, Jordan had teammates. I understand.
Let's break down the numbers. In the WNBA, the average salary for a player hovers around $120,000 per season, with top players earning between $200,000 to $300,000. In contrast, European leagues offer players substantially higher salaries. For instance, top European players can earn upwards of $1 million per season, with some reports indicating that certain stars can command even more based on their marketability and performance. This glaring financial incentive makes it challenging for Caitlyn and many others to justify staying in a league that doesn't adequately compensate their contributions.
Caitlyn Clark has been the best thing, the most dominant thing to happen to the WNBA ever. Remember, there's been good players come out of college, but nobody really cared. We'd seen it. Nobody really cared.
Additionally, when considering the viewership Caitlyn brings to the WNBA, the numbers are telling. The league has experienced unprecedented growth in viewership, largely driven by Caitlyn's performances.
Caitlyn Clark is box office.
Caitlyn is the face right now, and that's also good. Like, she's selling out gyms.
Caitlyn Clark is a megastar.
TV ratings have spiked 153% from last season, and that's before the playoffs, which began last week.
Caitlyn Clark is a box office draw, while the rest of the WNBA, it is nothing but a polished turd.
But the attention she brought to the sport, hopefully going to have a residual effect for years to come.
They have done everything they can to diminish the impact of Caitlyn Clark.
Caitlyn Clark is just such a class act. She was incredible, breaking all types of records, and that's something she was certainly proud of. We saw lots of smiles on the court.
She has single-handedly turned away games into home game atmospheres for her team, the Indiana Fever, demonstrating her ability to attract fans and boost ticket sales. Yet, despite being a primary reason for this buzz, she is not receiving a salary that reflects her market value or the revenue she generates for the league.
I was wrong about the impact that Caitlyn Clark was going to have on the WNBA. I did not think it was possible that one player could come in and basically quadruple the ratings. Caitlyn Clark, in terms of pro team sports impact, is the single most influential athlete that I have ever seen in my life.
Caitlyn Clark, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. The last rookie in NBA, WNBA playoff history to reach these numbers was Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was great. He could do everything. Caitlyn Clark just had a playoff series like Magic Johnson did way back in his rookie year.
Her game resonates with people in basketball and across the country because she's got that edge. She plays with a flair, but she's got that edge. The hands go up.
The contrast between the treatment of Caitlyn Clark and other players further exacerbates the situation. It's not just about the money, it's about recognition and respect.
It was such a bittersweet end to a phenomenal rookie season that Caitlyn Clark had. And it honestly got me to just reflecting on this season. And it sucks that so much of it was riddled with so much drama and so much negativity and so many mishaps that the WNBA had throughout the entire season.
Many players in the WNBA, especially those with extensive social media followings or marketing power, seem to receive preferential treatment in terms of salary negotiations and endorsements. Caitlyn has proven herself on the court. Yet the financial compensation doesn't align with her contributions.
Caitlyn Clark was the gift that kept on giving. Absolutely 1,000% kept on giving. And while she was doing this, I told you that even boys, men, are going to figure out, hey, wait a second, I'm kind of digging this. Not for her looks, not Angel Reese taking off her topper, showing her ass, or whatever she's doing. No, Caitlyn Clark's game resonated. Caitlyn Clark's rivalry with Reese resonated. It resonated with me, which means it resonates with men. Real men.
Ultimately, the decision to join the European League presents Caitlyn with the opportunity to secure a salary that matches her talent and marketability. It allows her to escape the frustrations of a league that may not fully appreciate her impact, while providing her with the financial stability she deserves as one of the brightest stars in women's basketball. As we wrap up this discussion, it's clear that Caitlyn Clark's decision to leave the WNBA for the European League is rooted in a complex web of factors, from salary disparities and the challenges of competing in an environment that hasn't fully embraced her to the recognition she deserves as a game changer.
There are still people who seemingly feel like they just don't want Caitlyn to be a part of it. Because with Caitlyn comes millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs. And with those millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs, unfortunately, is going to come some people who are not nice.
What the WNBA is measuring one type of greatness against the other greatness. Am I saying it's right that she's being pushed in the back? No, that's foul. That has no space in the sport, and we all know that.
By making this move, Caitlyn isn't just prioritizing her financial future. She's taking a stand for her worth in a league that has, unfortunately, not kept pace with her contributions. As fans, we should celebrate her decision and recognize it as a courageous step toward not only her own growth, but also as a potential catalyst for change within women's basketball. Will this shift spark a broader conversation about pay equity and recognition for all players in the WNBA? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Caitlyn Clark's impact on the game is undeniable, and her journey will continue to inspire many. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content that dives deep into the world of sports. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Caitlyn's decision, and how do you see the future of the WNBA evolving? Until next time, stay tuned for more exciting updates.
Go ahead, I'm not going to let you make it seem like Caitlyn Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like a handout.
No, it wasn't a handout.
Look at her numbers. Look at her numbers comparable to the other guards that were on the team. Caitlyn Clark, what she's doing doesn't minimize what they've done, but we should have been giving her the credit. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else. Oh, what about the women that laid the foundation? What about this? What about it? That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark is box office. She's doing this. And instead of giving her credit, y'all tried to make it about, oh, y'all poo-pooing the old guard. Y'all never talked about the old guard like this. Nah, I ain't gonna let it slide.